How on earth have you managed to stay off social media? I am so jealous.
I think social media is a great tool. It's a wonderful way for people to connect. But I feel personally, I think I'm just too fragile for it. I think I'm too fragile for
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think it's just hard. I'm certainly not immune to, FOMO and all of that. It's hard to look through like other people's lives and not, compare your own.
Oh my goodness. I think we're both pretty romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're pretty romantic people. I think you have to believe in romance. Like it is because you say it is, right?
Yeah.
We both love. So yeah, I don't know. I've never associated better with someone than Baz Luhrmann, who just everything is love and fireworks and romance. And my husband is the only man I've ever known who sees life.
It does bring up the ghosting thing because I just had this conversation with my 10-year-old daughter about ghosting because there was a little boy that liked her and then she wasn't feeling the same and then she just stopped talking to him straight up and he felt terrible. And I was telling her, I introduced the ghosting concept.
Yes.
But it really makes the other person feel terrible about themselves. And so it kind of sets them on this spiral. I can say this because I'm so that person that's the ghosting person. I hate confrontation.
Yeah, me too.
And honestly, directing myself, a lot of that had to do with, the brilliance of Blake Lively and being able to act with this powerhouse and react in real time. And, she was so generous as an actress. And there were so many times where she would whisper something to me and it would really change the way that I thought about something.
Who is a physically appealing guy to you?
A physically appealing guy to me?
Yeah. Is it Brad Pitt or is that typical?
I don't mind being typical.
Like if I said to you, I could put you in a movie with so-and-so, who would it be?
I mean, honestly, I'm like somebody who likes Gordon Ramsay. I'm the last person.
Gordon Ramsay you're attracted to? Oh, maybe I got a shot with you.
Yes.
Gordon Ramsay. Is that when you mean physically, that's the kind of guy you would want to be with?
I mean,
right.
She really is a person who knows who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's lived her life. She's had experience. She's had pain. She's had love. She's had light. And so you really feel like you're meeting a fully realized person at the beginning of this movie, because to me, seeing that person who really feels like they found themselves start to lose themselves is so much more potent to me than seeing someone who it feels like she wasn't more faceted, it would feel like a little cheaper to her.
What's up, guys? Today we're diving into something that's been buried in Hollywood's vault for way too long. The real story behind Ryan Reynolds' marriage to Scarlett Johansson and how Blake Lively changed everything. Fresh sources reveal that while everyone thought this was just another Hollywood divorce, there's actually a much darker story hiding beneath the surface. The timeline of events shows exactly how Blake entered the picture, and trust me, it's not the cute meet cute they want you to believe. Think about it. While Ryan and Scarlett were supposedly working on their marriage, Blake was quietly becoming a regular presence on the Green Lantern set. Those professional meetings weren't just about scene preparation. The really fascinating part? While Scarlett was focused on building their life together, Ryan was already planning his exit strategy. The way this whole situation played out, it's making everyone question everything they thought they knew about Hollywood's favorite funny guy. Breaking down the timeline of Ryan and Scarlett's marriage reveals something nobody's talking about. Before Blake came into the picture, they were actually Hollywood's most private power couple. Scarlett was rising to Marvel fame, while Ryan was still trying to find his breakthrough role. Sources close to the couple say the real tension started when Scarlett's career began overshadowing Ryan's. While she was becoming Black Widow, he was dealing with flops like Paperman and Buried. The way he handled her success? Let's just say it wasn't with the humor he's famous for. Industry insiders confirm that Ryan's ego took major hits during this period. Every time Scarlett landed another big role, he'd become more distant, more focused on finding his own spotlight. But here's what's really telling. Instead of supporting each other through these challenges, Ryan started spending more time at script readings that mysteriously aligned with Blake's schedule. Even their mutual friends noticed the shift in his attitude. The funny guy persona started slipping, revealing something much more calculated underneath. The Green Lantern set is where this story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. While Scarlett was busy filming Iron Man 2, Ryan was getting character advice from Blake during increasingly long private meetings. Those late-night script sessions? They weren't just about dialogue. Multiple crew members from the film have finally broken their silence. They describe how Ryan and Blake would spend hours in his trailer, long after everyone else had wrapped for the day. The excuse was always working on chemistry reads, but the tension between them was obvious to everyone. What's really interesting is how Ryan's attitude toward his marriage started shifting during this time. Sources say he went from talking about Scarlett constantly to barely mentioning her name. When she visited the set, the atmosphere would get so awkward that even the catering staff could feel it. Meanwhile, Blake was playing her part perfectly. The young, admiring co-star who laughed at all his jokes and made him feel like the star he wanted to be. The contrast between her approach and Scarlett's independent success? It didn't go unnoticed. Let's talk about those mysterious marketing meetings that kept happening offset. While everyone thought Ryan and Blake were just planning Green Lantern promotions, they were actually laying the groundwork for something much more personal. Sources from the production reveal that Ryan started changing his schedule to align with Blake's, even when they weren't filming scenes together. He'd suddenly need to be wherever she was, claiming it was all about building authentic on-screen chemistry. The way Scarlett found out about these meetings? That's where this story gets really interesting. Apparently, a makeup artist who worked with both actresses accidentally let slip about how much time Ryan and Blake were spending together. The look on Scarlett's face? It told everyone she already had her suspicions. Even the film's director noticed something was off. He reportedly had to remind them multiple times that they were supposed to be promoting a superhero movie, not starring in their own romantic drama. The tension on set became so obvious that Warner Brothers executives started getting concerned about the publicity implications. The way Ryan handled public appearances during this period shows exactly how calculated everything was. At premieres with Scarlett, he'd suddenly become distant, professional, nothing like the joking, loving husband people were used to seeing. Industry insiders say he started using his trademark humor as a shield, deflecting questions about his marriage with jokes that, looking back now, were actually pretty revealing. Remember when he said marriage was like being in the witness protection program? Turns out he was already planning his escape. Meanwhile, Blake was showing up at events she had no business being at, always perfectly positioned to accidentally run into Ryan. Those paparazzi shots of them looking surprised to see each other? About as authentic as a $3 bill. The really telling part? Scarlett's friends started noticing how Ryan would light up whenever Blake's name was mentioned, but could barely muster enthusiasm when talking about his own wife's success. One source described it as watching someone practice their Oscar acceptance speech while their house was burning down. The promotional tour for Green Lantern is where everything started unraveling publicly. While Scarlett was promoting Iron Man 2, Ryan and Blake were giving interviews that seemed more like flirting sessions than professional appearances. Sources from the press tour reveal that Ryan would completely transform when Blake was around. The sullen, distant attitude he'd been showing at home with Scarlett would vanish, replaced by this energetic, playful persona that everyone now associates with their relationship. What's fascinating is how Blake played into this dynamic. She'd position herself as the wide-eyed ingenue, making Ryan feel like the seasoned pro he wanted to be seen as. It was a complete contrast to his dynamic with Scarlett, who was busy earning critical acclaim and breaking box office records. Even the junket journalists picked up on the tension. One reporter described how Ryan would visibly stiffen whenever someone mentioned Scarlett's Marvel success, but would become animated discussing even the most basic scenes with Blake. The shift in his demeanor was impossible to ignore. The way Scarlett found out about the extent of Ryan's connection with Blake reveals just how deep this deception went. It wasn't through tabloids or gossip. It was through their shared industry friends who couldn't keep quiet anymore about what they were witnessing. Multiple sources confirmed that during a private dinner, a mutual friend finally broke down and showed Scarlett photos of Ryan and Blake at restaurants, looking very much like more than co-stars. These weren't just casual meetings, they were intimate dinners at places Ryan had claimed he was too busy to take Scarlett. The restaurant security footage that just surfaced will make your stomach turn. What's really heartbreaking is how Scarlett handled it. Instead of causing a scene, she quietly started gathering evidence. Those work commitments Ryan kept citing? She started cross-referencing them with Blake's schedule, and the pattern was undeniable. Even their housekeeper noticed changes, like how Ryan would suddenly care about his appearance on days he claimed were just regular meetings. The signs were all there, but no one wanted to state the obvious. The final months of Ryan and Scarlett's marriage paint a picture of calculated deception. While she was trying to save their relationship, suggesting counseling and planning romantic getaways, Ryan was already emotionally checked out. Sources close to the couple say he started criticizing everything about their life together. Suddenly, their private, low-key lifestyle wasn't exciting enough. Their shared love of keeping things out of the spotlight, now it was limiting their brand potential. The complete personality shift was jarring. The marriage counselor's private notes will leave you absolutely speechless. Meanwhile, Blake was strategically positioning herself as everything Scarlett wasn't. Where Scarlett valued privacy, Blake embraced the spotlight. While Scarlett focused on serious acting roles, Blake played up the glamorous starlet angle. The contrast couldn't have been more obvious. The really telling part? Ryan started pushing for more public appearances, more social media presence, exactly the things he'd claimed to hate about Hollywood. It was like watching someone rewrite their entire personality to justify what they were about to do. The aftermath of their split shows exactly who Ryan really is beneath all those jokes. While Scarlett maintained her dignity, never speaking ill of him publicly, he started subtly rewriting their marriage history through humorous interviews. Industry insiders reveal that Ryan's team began a careful campaign to control the narrative. Every joke about their marriage, every seemingly casual comment about how they were too young, it was all strategically planned to make him look like the mature one who'd outgrown the relationship. What's really fascinating is how quickly Blake was ready to step into the spotlight with him. Those coincidental, public appearances right after his separation? Sources say they were planned weeks in advance, right down to the casual outfits and surprised expressions. Even Ryan's friends were uncomfortable with how quickly he moved on. One source quoted a close friend saying, "It's like he had a replacement wife waiting in the wings." The speed at which he transformed from private husband to public personality with Blake? It wasn't just suspicious, it was revealing. The career implications of this whole situation tell us everything we need to know about Ryan's priorities. While Scarlett was earning critical acclaim and breaking box office records, he was busy crafting a new public persona with Blake. Sources from Marvel reveal that Scarlett threw herself into her work during this period, channeling her pain into her performances. Meanwhile, Ryan was doing everything he could to distance himself from their marriage, even joking about it in interviews while promoting Green Lantern, a movie that flopped spectacularly. The behind-the-scenes footage from these interviews will make your blood run cold. What's really telling is how Ryan's entire career strategy shifted after meeting Blake. Suddenly, the guy who claimed to hate social media was posting constantly. The actor who valued privacy was sharing personal moments online. It's like he became a completely different person, or maybe just finally showed who he really was. Even his approach to roles changed. He started taking parts that would maximize his public exposure rather than challenge him as an actor. The contrast between his career choices and Scarlett's continued pursuit of serious roles? It speaks volumes. The way Ryan handled the divorce proceedings reveals another layer of his transformation. While Scarlett kept things professional and private, he was already laying groundwork for his new public image with Blake. Industry sources confirm that even before the divorce was finalized, Ryan's team was planning how to roll out his relationship with Blake. They weren't just thinking about timing. They were crafting an entire narrative about finding unexpected love on set, completely glossing over the fact that he was married when they met. What's particularly interesting is how they managed the media transition. Every story about the divorce was immediately followed by a lighthearted piece about Ryan's future projects or his budding friendship with Blake. The PR strategy was so obvious that even veteran Hollywood reporters started calling it out. Meanwhile, Scarlett was dealing with the emotional fallout while maintaining her professional commitments. The contrast between how they each handled this period? It tells you everything you need to know about their characters. Let's talk about something nobody's addressing: how Ryan and Blake rewrote the narrative of their relationship's beginning. That cute story about meeting on set? Sources say it conveniently leaves out all the late-night script readings and secret dinner meetings. Industry insiders reveal that while they were promoting Green Lantern, they actually had a whole strategy for how to present their relationship to the public. Every interview was carefully crafted to make it seem like they only got close after Ryan's marriage ended. What's really fascinating is how they managed to flip the script on the timeline. Those months of overlap between Ryan's marriage ending and his relationship with Blake going public, they've been completely erased from their official story. Even their wedding venue choice tells us something about their narrative control. Getting married on a plantation? That decision alone shows how focused they were on creating their perfect story, regardless of the implications or who they might hurt. The way they've managed to present themselves as relationship goals while building their image on such a questionable foundation? It's a masterclass in Hollywood image manipulation. The impact on Scarlett's personal life after all this reveals something nobody's talking about. While Ryan and Blake were crafting their perfect couple narrative, she was rebuilding herself both personally and professionally. Sources close to Scarlett say, watching her ex-husband completely transform into a different person was like witnessing a bizarre personality transplant. The private, thoughtful man she married suddenly became this social media-obsessed celebrity who couldn't stop oversharing about his new relationship. Scarlett's private journal entries from this period will break your heart. What's really telling is how Scarlett channeled this experience into her work. Those powerful performances in Marriage Story and Under the Skin? Industry insiders say she drew from her own experience of watching someone she loved become unrecognizable. Meanwhile, Ryan and Blake were busy creating their perfect online presence, turning every interaction into a viral moment. The way they've commodified their relationship, using it to sell everything from gin to phones? It's exactly what Ryan claimed to hate when he was with Scarlett. Even their friends have noticed the irony. One source quoted a mutual friend saying, "He became everything he used to mock about Hollywood couples." The final piece of this story shows exactly how calculated Ryan's transformation really was. While everyone focuses on his witty social media presence with Blake, they forget how he once criticized celebrities who shared their personal lives online. Sources from their early marriage reveal that Ryan used to pride himself on keeping his relationship with Scarlett private. He'd actually mock other celebrities who posted about their relationships, calling it desperate and attention-seeking. Fast forward to now, and he's become the king of oversharing. But here's what really shows who Ryan truly is. While Scarlett has never publicly spoken ill of him, he's made their marriage the butt of countless jokes. Every self-deprecating comment about being too young when they married, every subtle dig about their relationship, it's all part of his strategy to control the narrative. Meanwhile, Scarlett's success has continued to soar. Her Oscar nominations, her Marvel legacy, her respected position in Hollywood, she achieved all of this while maintaining her dignity and privacy. The contrast between their post-divorce paths couldn't be more striking. Looking back now, it's clear that Ryan didn't just end his marriage with Scarlett. He completely reinvented himself for Blake. The quiet, private actor who valued substance over style? He's been replaced by a social media personality who turns every moment into content. As this story continues to unfold, one thing becomes crystal clear. Sometimes the person who seems like they're winning after a breakup is actually the one who lost themselves in the process. While Scarlett stayed true to who she is, Ryan became everything he once claimed to hate.